My name is Finn. I'm a 33-year-old male living in San Francisco. This story happened around 5 years ago in 2018. I was working a common side job as a baker, and my other job was being a postman. I had two jobs mainly because, I needed the money to keep up the rent, the light bills, and put food on the table for myself. It was hard at first, but eventually I got the hang of it. I met a girl there who I considered to be a very sweet person and very kind-hearted at the bakery. She always made her candy and some of her sweet treats made filled with love, and they always tasted so great whenever you even just get a tiny little snibble of it. She was enjoyable to be around and made everyone laugh. But I did notice over time how much of her attention was towards me. I wasn't so sure about her at first, but she seemed great, so I decided to give her a shot. I asked her out one morning and she immediately said yes, no hesitation. She seemed so amazing talking to her all those days at work. But when I took her out on this date, things weren't as innocent as they seemed. Being the gentleman that I am, I decided to pick her up at her house. I did, and she looked gorgeous than ever. I took her to the place that we were going to eat, and it was great. The food was amazing, and her smiles on her face made me feel so alive. Her jokes was great, my jokes were great to her. It felt like we really connected on a deeper level. But eventually into the conversation, it began to get a little bit strange. I didn't know how the conversation just got so confusing so fast. She was all happy and smiley and touchy with me to just being drained. It was like she had put up this act and just got sick and tired of it. Until out of nowhere, she began to get clingy and the conversation steered towards more personal things. She began to talk about how her family treated her horribly and how they used to beat her terribly, till she was bloodied and bruised. I felt bad for her, but at the same time confused of why we were talking about this, considering that we just went on our first date and we've hardly even known each other at the bakery. She began to even get even more strange when she started to just look at me. She didn't say anything but stared. It wasn't one of those stares where you stare into someone else's eyes as they're staring back at you and you have this lovey-dovey moment. It was just this piercing blank stare, expressionless. It was odd and almost uncomfortable even. But I started a conversation with her just so I can get it to stop and to ask her if she wanted to go somewhere else. She said no politely and just kept staring. I didn't know what to do. I began to get confused and a little bit creeped out by her. So I decided to just call it a night and asked her if she wanted to go home, and she said yes. I dropped her off at her house, but she wanted me to come in. I wasn't so sure about coming in after what just happened at the restaurant. Things got even more strange when her attitude completely flipped on me from clingy to almost irritated and angry almost. She began almost starting to curse me out, slowly, but it began to get more aggressive, and she started saying things like, "How could you do this to me? I show you all this attention and you show me none. How could you be so disrespectful?" I began to just start trying to slowly get out the car, but she gets out the car too and starts coming around to the other side from where I'm at. I start going around the car and we start doing circles. I don't want to be around her, I don't. She's starting to creep me out and get too aggressive. Now she's hitting the car. It gets even more odd when a neighbor comes outside and asks what's going on from all the commotion. She looks directly at the neighbor and angrily yells at him to go back in his house. This is none of his business. But he begins to say it is his business considering she's waking up the whole neighborhood. I see a couple houses down and lights are starting to turn on all around us. People are exiting their houses and looking outside their windows, wondering what the heck is going on. But things here get more dramatic and even more insane when she starts cursing out the neighbor and threatening to take his life with a fork that she for some reason took from the restaurant. I didn't even know she took the fork from the restaurant until now. My question is what she was going to do with it before the neighbor came outside. Things got even more insane when the police arrived because of the threat she had made. She threatened to kill the police officer, and the police officer pulled out his gun and commanded her to get down on her knees so he can arrest her. I tried to help her and say that she was just drunk, and she didn't mean what she was saying, but honestly, I was creeped out by her. I was confused to what the heck happened. I didn't understand. I couldn't understand how the night just went so left. It didn't make sense. I just couldn't understand it. Nothing happened during that whole night that could have started this, so what happened? She was taken into the county jail downtown. I didn't see her anymore after that. I didn't see her at work either. Apparently our boss had fired her after, well, you know. It didn't make much sense to what happened that night. I didn't understand how the night could go so left or how she could just change so dramatically. I didn't know until a couple months later that I heard she had a mental disorder. She had schizophrenia, and no one at work knew about it. I didn't hear too much, but that's all I heard from a personal close friend of hers. All I know about her now is that she's living with her mother in Washington, D.C., and, well, I stopped working at the bakery. I had gotten a better job that gave better pay, but mainly because I was in fear of her returning to the bakery to find me. But I do hope that she finds the help that she needs for her mental disorder, and hope that she can live a long life and find someone special. But in the meantime, creepy girl that I dated, let's never meet again.